I thought perimenopause was like what you go through before you hit full-blown menopause. Okay. And then when you were talking and you were listing kind of some of the symptoms and things you might be feeling and thinking about, just different things happening to your body, I was like, oh my God, I have all of those. I just was kind of making like a mental checklist in my head, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think I need to go see her because I think I have all these symptoms. So I called my mom on the way home, and I was like, I just went and listened to this doctor talk, and she was so amazing. And I feel like as a younger girl and my mom going through those things, it's like, God, menopause just sounds terrible, and it's just this horrible part of your life, but you just got to muscle through it. Like there are solutions and there are things you can do to help yourself.
So you come back to see me after that first visit. What did you tell me was the biggest change that happened for you?
My sex drive through the roof. Like now, every time I go to get my pellets, he's like, get 1,000. Like, I want my friends to feel good and look good and be happy and find their drive and their good energy in their families and not be the angry, mad mom stomping around. So I wanted to kind of share the knowledge. And so
before you hear this episode of the Menopause, if you feel that it's time to make a change and you want to join the Urogenius family, reach out to us at HoustonUrogynecology.com or 832-831-0362. You can also check us out on Instagram or Facebook. Our handle is The Pelvic MD. Enjoy. Welcome to the Menopause. This is a podcast specifically for women who refuse to pause in menopause. I'm here with Virginia. This is one of my patients who I absolutely adore, and I need to start by saying thank you for coming and thank you for taking the time to be with us. We are going to talk today about perimenopause, that massive black hole that the internet is diving into, where there's a whole lot of misinformation. And we're going to clarify, and you're going to hear from someone who's going through exactly what you're going through. And so welcome, Virginia, firstly.
Thank you.
So I wanted to start talking about, we met at a women's function. I was presenting. What was your journey into what you thought or think is the menopause up to that point?
What did I think it was?
Yeah, what did you think? Firstly, what did you think of the word perimenopause? And then up to the point where I just started talking about perimenopause, were you thinking, this is what I'm going through? Or
I thought perimenopause was like what you go through before you hit full-blown menopause.
Okay.
And then when you were talking and you were listing kind of some of the symptoms and things you might be feeling and thinking about and, just different things happening to your body, I was like, oh my God, I have all of those. And so I just was kind of making like a mental checklist in my head. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think I need to go see her because I think I have all these symptoms. And so when I came to meet with you and we started talking and started, doing all the blood work and the tests and everything, and you were like, well, yep, here we are. So then I asked for the pellets.
She's like, she threw it on the mat and I was like, just give it to me now. So up to that point, what were there any negative connotations with perimenopause for you?
About what I thought it was?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think menopause sounds like a negative thing to happen. So I just thought it was bad, but not as bad as what was coming next. Kind of like the precursor to, you're going to get some night sweat, so here's a little sample of it, and the anxiety's going to get bad, but here's a little sample of it. You can try that out, see how you like it. Don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like any of it.
Did not like it.
No.
So what were the symptoms that were the foremost in your mind?
I noticed I started having night sweats, and I would wake up and like my neck would be all wet and the back of my hair was wet, and like kind of ripping off my pajamas in the middle of the night, and having to stick a foot out of the blanket. My anxiety was getting kind of worse and worse. Just in like my mood swings and just kind of flying off the handle a little bit more than normal. So yeah, I had some of those.
Did you get any feedback from your family?
I got a lot of like big eyes, like, oh God, here she goes. Something's wrong with mom.
Hammer her down.
Yeah.
First day, and your husband brought you to your appointment.
Yes, we came together.
So kudos. I have so much respect for him for being, I mean, he cares about her endlessly. And I had so much respect for him when I walk into a room and I see the both of them. And I was like, all right, we're going to solve problems, right?
Well, he was here because the sex drive part was another huge thing of that click that I might be going through something. And so he was like, well, I want to know more about what's wrong with that. Because there was lack of. And then when I did come to you and we did all the blood work and you asked me, how are you having sex? You have like 0 testosterone. You're not even registering. And so I kind of looked at him. Remember, I looked at him and I was like, see, I don't hate you.
There's it.
I just don't want to have sex.
Right.
Ever.
I don't
It's
hate
not
you.
me.
Do you know how many men you just liberated right now? We all don't hate you.
We just don't want to.
Right. We just don't feel like it. Right. No, absolutely. And so, but he was, I mean, it was so, the crazy thing is that he didn't come with any kind of preconceived ideas. I mean, when we were all talking, he was very open about understanding what you were going through. Right. So that you could get on board together. Right. Which is just so super cool. That's like the best consultation because he's like firing questions at me too. I was like, damn. All right. like this is no joke. Super intelligent guy. So you then come in, you decide to get help. We go after it. I mean, you were unapologetic. You were like gung ho. Let's get this done yesterday.
Yes.
Right. You wanted a change.
Yes. I needed a change.
You needed a change, and I can tell you I remember giving the presentation and seeing you in the audience, and there were these little bug eyes. You know, when you're giving a presentation, somebody always catches your attention, and there was these little bug, and then she was like, every time I mentioned a symptom, she would go like this. I was like, gotcha. And you came.
I did. And when I left there, I went and I kind of, when I got invited to the presentation, I went just because she was my friend and I'm going to support whatever she was doing. But then when you were talking and I was listening and taking everything in, I kind of left there because I called my mom on the way home and I was like, I just went and listened to this doctor talk and she was so amazing. And I feel like as a younger girl and my mom going through those things, it's like, God, menopause just sounds terrible and it's just this horrible part of your life. But you just got to muscle through it. You put a totally spin on it that it doesn't have to be this horrible experience. Like there are solutions and there are things you can do to help yourself. And so it doesn't have to be this horrible time in a woman's life where it's just she's mean and grumpy and stressed out and doesn't want to do anything and feels fat and bloated. All those horrible things, like you don't have to do that. You can avoid all of it.
Don't have to, not for 1 minute. So when you called your mom and you kind of opened up this kind of can of worms about menopause, did she have any feedback in terms of her experience or?
No, she just muscled through it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's her experience.
She's like, well, I just had to kind of muscle through and, roll with the punches on it.
Right.
So I'm glad that there's someone out there and there's, stuff that you can take to help you ease into it to where you just kind of gloss over it a little bit and it doesn't have to be so horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you come back to see me after that first visit. And what did you say? What did you tell me was the biggest change that happened for you?
My sex drive is through the roof. Like, so now every time I go to get my pellets, he's like, get 1,000.
She didn't need 1,000. I got skills. We don't need to give more. You just got to give the right dose.
No, but it's perfectly dosed for me. Yes. And
what did you, in terms of your confidence, because I will tell you the difference between the way the person that walked in before we started treatment and after was different, right? You had, for lack of better terms, I mean, Virginia came in full swag on second visit, right? She came in with like, I got this.
Yeah.
And everything was changed. Her hair, her makeup, the way she moved, everything changed. And your attitude changed. And can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I felt better. I felt like I had some energy and I felt like I looked better and I felt like the bloating had gone away. And so my clothes were fitting better and my hair was looking better. Like overall felt better. And I wasn't so scared of everything and just the constant worry about, you know, things going on with my kids and, you know, one away at college and one had just graduated. And so, you know, worrying about what's going on with them and is everything okay? And, you know, so now I'm just kind of more, hey, if things aren't great for everybody, it happens.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, I mean, I can help you as much as I can.
You
but
can't control everything.
I've noticed I've quit taking on a lot of their problems because I don't feel the need to take on their problems, because I guess I'm finding myself in a different place in my life where I'm going through the whole empty nesting thing and trying to, you know, reconnect with my husband. And I feel like with my kids, like, you have your stuff, I have my stuff. I can't keep fixing. And that was another part of the problem, is I was trying to fix everyone else's problems, that I was kind of letting my problems just kind of subside and, you know, put them on the back burner. And I think once I started feeling better and my confidence came back, I was just kind of like, well, I figured it out, and so can you. So I've let go of some of that.
But I think that what you said is so important for a lot of women who are in your situation, where they have teens, post-COVID kids, you know, trying to get them through this difficult time, in that you recognize that to be helpful to them, you didn't have to take on their problems, like emotionally, right? You didn't have to kind of live it with them, you know, to be able to, you could stand back and be in complete control of your emotions and still help them, right? Which is huge, right?
Yeah, and I feel like my anxiety would make me feel like I had to fix it for them. And now that I've kind of got that under control, I can step back with different set of eyes and be like, okay, they're adults. They have to figure it out. And they will, and they'll be fine. And it's okay. I don't have to fix everything.
Yep.
So.
Well, the new Virginia then left my office, and then you hosted a party for me.
I did.
Which I was super honored by, and just brought in an amazing group of women, and we had this amazing conversation, of which Miss Swag here was at the hilt. And again, it was just great energy, and we had a great conversation. What made you do that? Because
I feel like I'm a girl's girl, and I don't like to gatekeep secrets. And so when I found you and I started feeling better and just everything was improving, I was like, okay, I have so many girlfriends that I know are either about to be here or are here or have already been through it. And I want them to know that there's options. And when I said, I felt like when I left the first party where I met you, and it was like, you don't have to suffer through this. Like, there's alternative things you can do. I was like, I want my friends to feel good and look good and be happy and find their drive and their good energy in their families, and not be the angry, mad mom stomping around.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of share the knowledge, and so
that's awesome.
I wanted everybody to meet you.
Yay! No, it's been great. I've seen a few of your friends. They've all been. I mean, you attract amazing people. So I don't know if you're not average, but it's been just a pleasure to be on this journey with y'all. But I think it's so important, because that perimenopause, again, is how I started this, is a black hole of real misinformation for a lot of patients. And we're not doing this because I expect y'all to come to me. That's not the point. The point is, I need you to see yourself in Virginia's story, so that you know that there is help out there, and that you should get. And by delaying it, you're delaying your quality of life. Right.
And I feel like I started it just at the right time for me. I feel like I started it at the beginning of feeling all the changes happening and recognizing it, and I feel like I caught it early enough to where my quality of life has gotten a lot better.
And that's what makes you exceptional, because I think that's the hardest thing, is that women we find a million excuses. We're doing everything for everybody, and we wait way too long. Right. The average patient, I find, is a good 6-7 years ahead of where you are. And a lot of, your quality of life's been damaged, your relationships have been damaged, physiologically things have been damaged, and we're kind of in reparation mode, right? Whereas you kind of took the bull by the horns and said, listen, I want my life back, which totally kudos to you for, like, wanting your life back and putting yourself first, right?
Oh, thank you.
And you should never, I mean, that's an example for all of us to follow. Again, you cannot give if you have nothing to give. If your bucket is not full, then how in heaven's name are you going to give anybody else, right?
Yes.
Even the closest people to you. That becomes a vacuum. You get sucked. That's when people talk about the life being sucked out of them. It's because your bucket's not full, so you can't give to anybody else.
Well, my blood work showed I was depleted in everything.
in everything. And again, it's just watching, my joy comes from like just seeing that metamorphosis, right? This girl's got swag, and plus she wears the best shoes, so whenever she comes to clinic, I'm like, what shoes are you wearing today? So I go shoe shopping. But it's been a pleasure. Now, if you were to tell somebody who is sitting listening to this podcast, thinking about this, what could you say to her to make her make that move?
You don't have anything to lose. You only have things to gain. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is you feel really good and you're happy, and if you don't like it, then don't do it, you know? But I think you should at least try to just see if it makes you feel better. See if it gives you more energy. See if when you wake up, you feel like you're not so tired after you have slept for 10 hours.
Right.
See if your kids notice a difference in you, or you're more excited to see your husband, and sex isn't a chore. It's a want to now.
That's awesome.
I mean, so you have nothing to lose.
Absolutely. Did you hear that? Sex is a want to now. That is quotable. Okay. Sex is a want to and not a chore. I think that's the word that I hear most women use, that sex goes from something you want to do to a chore.
Right.
Right. I'm just fulfilling my wifely duties.
Right.
So that's
and
awesome.
it shouldn't feel that way.
No.
I mean, because my husband's drive is through the roof, so it's hard to keep up with him. And now I'm like keeping up, and I'm happy.
That's right.
So I don't feel that way anymore.
That's awesome. We need him to keep up. That's right. That's right. Tables have turned. But that's awesome. That's awesome. I am appreciative. I am honored. I am just so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for coming. You have changed millions of women's lives. You've given them good information, and you've showed them you've been vulnerable, and I know that you all appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Well, thank you.